let's check this thing out. Alright? It's amazing what you put under your bed and then forget about. Alright? I don't even remember what's in here. Hey, what's going on? You're early. I haven't done the video yet. I haven't started. Alright, don't worry about it. Come here. Check this out. We'll start now. Alright? Wasn't planning on doing it this way, but since you're here. Alright, I'm gonna check this thing out today, alright? Look. Alright? What do you think? Alright? A little different. I haven't done the bass yet, right? So, yeah? Cool. Alright. Before we get into it, do me a favor, you like this video, hit the like button. You want to see more, definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell, alright? That way you get messages whenever we do more videos, alright? So, alright guys, this is, so I put it on, but here, this is an LTD B-154 bass guitar, okay? I'll go over the specs real quick. Sorry if my giant head is in front of your face here. This is from the top 4-string bass, okay? Tilt back headstock, EADG tuning, right? 24 frets. What looks to me to be a rosewood fretboard. Doesn't look like it's stained or anything to try and look like rosewood. It just is, okay? And yeah, the neck shape is nice. It's got the volute on the back. See, see that pump? That's called a volute. That's there for extra reinforcement, so headstocks are less likely to break. Anyway, so the neck shape is like a C. Okay, if you think of the curvature of the letter in the alphabet, several of them have different curvatures, and they used to generally describe the different shapes, the different curvatures of different possible curvatures of the neck. Okay, and in this case we have what I would call a slim C. Okay, it has 24 frets, as I was saying. The name on the 12th fret. Right, so no double dot. It's got its name right there, so there's no hiding the fact what it is. Okay, we'll get to why I like that later. 6 bolts, guys. Check it out. 6 bolts on the back of that neck. Okay, which sounds good, and it can be bad because it makes it very hard to find replacements. If you have a bad neck on this, then it gets difficult. You got to get creative. Okay, if you have a problem with the neck and you can't really use the truss rod anymore, you got to get a little creative. So, like when I'll get into that in a second. So it has 2 ESP branded pickups, which are actually pretty cool. I have no problems with them. I like the tone of this bass. It's not super bright. It's not muddy. It's kind of in the middle as far as its overall tone structure. Okay, before you can start playing around with the knobs and everything. The knobs themselves, speaking of knobs, it's got 4 of them. This is a volume. This is blend. Okay, what that does is it dials in the middle right here. You can feel it has a dent, so it'll stop there. And in that setup, and when you set it like that, both pickups work. They're active. From there, you dial just to 1, and you get this. In between those 2 settings, you get a mix. Okay, it dials in more of this and less of this, and vice versa. When you want to just have the bridge pickup, you can do that. Okay, and dial up mixes in the middle between the middle setting and the bridge only setting. And then it has 2 tone knobs. This is for lows, and this is for this is for lows, this is for highs, I think, on this bass. So, and the setup is the same here. It's got a middle detent, so turn it one way, you're adding, and dial it back, you're taking away. Okay, so you have a lot of tonal flexibility. All right. When I picked this up, this is one of the basses I picked up when I picked up 6 instruments. Okay, that's if you've watched a couple of my other videos, a couple of my other early videos, I've mentioned the story of picking up six instruments, 4 electric guitars, 2 basses for a little over 2, and then a tiny amp that's okay. For $230, works out to about $36 a piece, something like that. They were all kind of in the shape. This one was the best of them all. This one, just the neck was a little warped. I took a shot. I didn't have. It's not like I could test it there and play around with the truss rod. But the truss rod was at full extension. It was actually in full use, and still had a little bit of a bend, so I had to do something. So before I went and started taking everything apart, because this neck is hard to replace, I put it in a tight case. This one here, tight fitting case, where I was going to keep it flat. Before I did that, I dialed the truss rod back to 0, and then I put it up somewhere where I knew it was going to end up drying out a bit. Okay, because when you dry out a neck, it bows the opposite direction. Right? When you add moisture, it wants to expand beyond its normal reach, so it bends. It bends like this. When you drying it out, it does the opposite. It wants to end up like this. So by waiting a couple of months, leaving it in the case near a heater, basically, in my dry apartment, I was able to get it to go more or less straight. Slight adjustment in the truss rod from there got it back to 0. The neck, that is, not the truss rod. That's not a 0. But everything's working, right? So saved, and I say it got to save an instrument. This one is a junk, right? So that's always good. Now, the weight on this instrument is pretty good. It's not too heavy, even though it's got a good sized body, right? So, and it's well balanced, and because of what it is, if you can find something like this used, you're gonna end up getting a good deal. All right. So here's why. All right. Instruments like this, they don't resell well. Okay. They're not Fenders. They're not Gibsons. They're not the super collectible ones. Right. So then they're mass produced. So everyone's got one, more or less. Right. So then you get you get a $429, $450 original retail price on this, and now 10 years go by, it's worth about half that. You know what I mean? But it's got active electronics. It's a solid full-scale instrument. It's got a good look. It's because it's got the flame maple veneer on it. Okay, so what do you end up with? You end up with a very solid instrument that you don't have to worry about beating up. Right? So if you can find anything like this, especially this brand, because the name is right of the model is right in the middle of the neck. This means you can just look at it and go, oh, okay, let me check this out online, and put LTD B-154 into your phone and do a search, and you'll see a whole bunch of these, and you'll see them new, you'll see them used, and you'll see them people asking $350, $400 for them, thinking that they still have the value of them when they were new. But you'll also find guys selling them if you look specifically for sold for, right? Like if you're on eBay and you do a search and you do sold for search instead of just looking for stuff for sale. You want to find stuff that's already sold. You'll see the listings of the prices that they actually sold for. Right? So you can do something like that, and then you can see exactly what you should be paying for that instrument. These, there's no hiding that stuff, so that makes them good for picking up a deal. Okay, so something to consider. Now, I'm going to really quick, I'm going to play a little bit before you, a little bit of this for you. Okay, excuse me. Did I even say that right then? I don't know. I'm going to be playing through the amp that I reviewed several videos ago. It was for it's a bedroom bass amp, okay, 20-watt bedroom bass amp. Now this is a no-name brand. This is Monoprice's Stage Right brand, okay, so it's a brand from a retailer, right? It's not a Marshall or anything like that. So, but it's solid. It's got a native speaker. It's got it does everything it's supposed to do, and it's got a compressor in it, which is great for bass. So, this is going to sound, you know, it's a good little amp. You're going to get decent tones. You're going to hear decent tones out of this. I've already tested this a couple of times. So, sorry. Don't tell the guy who was here first. He don't know. He showed up early. All right. Let's actually plug it in, right? Because it was in the case. we're all plugged in. Just a quick little. Okay. Okay, right in the middle. I got both pickups going. I got the tone dead center on both the lows and the highs. Okay. This is more or less 7 across the board. It's a little higher on the mids and a little higher than that on. Actually, let me put it again. It's like 9 on the lows, 8 on the mids, 6 on the highs. Okay. So, and it's got a little bit of gain. Anyway, let's go. This is a solid little bass, okay? Now, my overall review, you're already hearing it. It's positive, right? So this thing it's a good, solid instrument. A really good choice if you're on a budget and you're looking for something solid. All right. This is again, it's always better to buy new, but when you can't afford to buy new, you got to get smart, right? So this is an option, okay? Look for even not just this. This particular one from LTD, this is just the bass. The guitars are the same way. So definitely good options if you're trying to find something solid on a budget, right? Most of the models, especially the lower end ones, there's going to be lots of them, and they're in good condition. Believe it or not, they're pretty good, and you can beat them up because you're not tied into it for $2,000. So anyway, guys. That's it for this one, alright? Thanks for being here. This has been RJ'sCAVE. If you really like this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell, okay? This way we can all hang out together. Remember, when you learn how to make music, you really are learning how to make magic, guys, right? Because when you learn how to play a song, you can change somebody's day. And the world needs more magic. So go out there, get motivated, learn how to make music so you can make magic, alright? This is RJ'sCAVE. Later.